Good day, everybody. I hope that you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 1 English lesson on contractions. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with your username as well as your password, and then we're going to select the subject of language arts, grade 1, and then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of contractions. All right. So our chapter is contractions. The subject is English language arts. Grade 1. And the lessons that we are going to focus on under the chapter of contractions is to form contractions with not and to complete the sentences with the correct contractions. So that is going to be our lessons that we are going to be focusing on under the chapter of contractions. All right, so contractions. This is a continuation of the lesson that we did in our previous lesson where we did contractions. So we are also now added to complete sentences with the correct contractions. So we will also find out today that we have positive contractions as well as negative contractions. So as much as it's going to seem as if we did contractions already, but we are going to be learning also about positive as well as negative contractions. All right. So a contraction, right? It is a contraction is a short form of two words. So we have like two words, right? And a contraction is like when we put those two words together and then it's like we are creating another word, right? So contraction is a short form of two words. The words are put together and some letters are left out. So we put these two words together, right? But there's either going to be one or two or three of the letters that's going to be left out. And the letters that's going to be left out, right? An apostrophe. An apostrophe will show where the letters are left out. So as much as we are going to put an apostrophe in the place of the letters that are missing, but we're only going to put one apostrophe, whether there's one letter, two letters, or three or more letters that's missing, right? Only one apostrophe. We don't add more than one apostrophe for the amount of letters that's missing. So an apostrophe will show where the letters are left out. All right. So when it also comes to contractions, right? You can make contractions with the word not. So you can make contractions with the word not. So when we make contractions with the word not, then we basically drop the letter O and then we put the apostrophe in its place. And we're going to make an example now. So we make contractions with the word not. And then what we do is we then drop the letter O and then we put an apostrophe in its place. For example, is not, right? If we say he is not my friend. So if we say he is not my friend, right? Remember, we need to put these two words together, right? Then we can say he. We need to put that two words together. So we bring the word is down. We bring the N down. We said that we see that the O falls away. We drop the O. And while we drop the O, we put the apostrophe in its place and we bring the T down. We bring down the T. So it's almost like saying is not, and the O is invisible there. Because we dropped the O, we left it, right? We removed it. So now we say, instead of saying he is not my friend, we can say he isn't my friend. So he isn't my friend, right? And when it comes to contractions with the word not is one of the contractions that we call negative contractions, right? And negative contractions is what we're going to find out about soon. Negative as well as positive contractions. But we say he is not my friend. And if we rewrite that sentence with the contraction, we say he isn't my friend. We dropped the O and we put the apostrophe in its place. All right. Also, has not. Has not. If we, for example, write a sentence with the word has not, we can say, she has not returned my doll. So she has not returned my doll, right? So there we have the word has not. We need to put these two together. Remember, we need to drop the O, right, and put the apostrophe in its place. So we can say, she has, we leave has, we bring has down, we bring down the end of not, we drop the O, we put the apostrophe in its place, and we bring the T down. She hasn't returned my doll, or she hasn't returned my pencil, or she hasn't returned whatever that belongs to me, right? So there we have isn't, and there we have hasn't. And once again, we need to drop the O when we make a contraction with the word not. All right. Then contractions, right? When it also comes to contractions, the contractions can't. So the word can't is special. So can't, if you say, I can't do that, right? I can't write my name. I can't spell that word. I can't kick the ball. I can't play soccer. I can't play netball, right? So can't is also a negative contraction, right? It's like you're saying negative things all the time. So the contraction can't is special. And the reason why the contraction can't is special, it's because it is short for cannot. So can't is short for cannot. So the contraction can't, we can say that this is very special, and it is short for cannot. It's like saying, I cannot do this. That's the same as saying, I can't do it. He cannot open his bottle, right? He can't open his bottle. He cannot open his bottle. So these are negative contractions, right? And in order to make the contraction, right, we need to drop the letters N as well as O. This is of cannot. And then we put the apostrophe in their place. And if we look at an example, right, we look at an example of the word can't that is special, right, which is short for cannot. There we have cannot, and there we have can't, right? So we have can't, and we also have cannot. So we need to basically create a sentence with that word in order to see how we can use it. So we can then say, let me bring this down. So we say that the contraction can't is special. So can't is special, and it is short for cannot, right? And if we, for example, write a sentence, then we can say, for example, it starts with cannot. They cannot play, let's say, football. So they cannot play football, right? And like we said, these are negative contractions because you are saying not or cannot, right? It's like you're saying to yourself that you cannot do something. So they cannot play football. And if we shorten that word, right, cannot to can't, then we say so they cannot play football. And if we use the shortened word, if we use a shortened word, which is can't, right? Because we said can, cannot, right? Or can't is the shortened word for cannot. So then we can say they can't, which is the CAN, which is that word. Then we are basically dropping the N and the O, put the apostrophe in its place, and then we bring in our T. So they can't play football. So they can't play football. And once again, these are negative contractions. And we say these are negative contractions because we're using the word not, like I cannot, I will not, shall not, have not, right? So these are negative contractions because you are actually saying no to everything. Of course, come in connection with a contraction, right? All right. So once again, we have words like cannot and can't, and the word can't is short for cannot, right? And we said cannot and can't and shall not and is not, has not, will not. These are all negative contractions, right? Negative contractions because we use words like not, like I cannot, I will not, he has not, right? So those are negative contractions. All right. So that is one of the words that is the negative contractions, right? And then we also say that the contractions, when it comes to contractions, won't. Won't is also another contraction that we would say is special, right? And it is short for will not. I won't go to the shop. I will not go to the shop, right? So it's basically the same. And the spelling changes when the two words are put together. And if we look at the negative contraction, right, we have will not. Then I say, for example, I will not go to school. So I will not go to school. There we have the word will not go to school. And if we change that word into won't, right, then we can say because now basically the spelling changes of that next word. All right. So we can say, I will not go to school. Oopsie. So I will not go to school. This is a double O. And if we change that word and find the shortened version of it, we can say I won't. MWON apostrophe T. I won't go to school. Right? And there we have our word won't. And like I say, these are negative contractions. And before we get to those contractions, right? Here we have positive contractions and we have negative contractions, right? With the positive contractions, not one of the contractions are telling us no or not or will not, right? Or won't or can't. With positive contractions, we are only saying good things, right? They are, we are, you are, I'm or I am, I'd or I would, I should, I will, he will, she will, right? So these are basically positive contractions, right? So with positive contractions, we only say positive things, nothing negative, right? And then we have negative contractions. So we have negative contractions, and negative contractions, we use the words not. So we use the words not. All right. So we have our positive contractions. That's where we say positive things like I will, he will, she will, right? And then we have negative contractions. It's like where we say, we use the word not, right? Where we say, um, have not, right? Could not, cannot, can't, are not, right? Aren't, have not, should not, was not, were not, right? And so basically, with the negative contractions, it's where we use the word not. All right. So once again, these are positive contractions, and then we have negative contractions. And remember, when it comes to negative contractions, and then we basically form our word also by using the word not. But then once we do the contractions, and then we drop the O, and then we put the apostrophe in its place of the O. All right. All right. So we are doing our tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca. On aplusstudents.ca. All right. So now let's go to aplusstudents.ca. And we already made mention of the positive contractions as well as the negative contractions. So we said we need to form contractions with not, right, which is the negative contraction. And a contraction is a short form of two words. The words are put together and some letters are left out. An apostrophe shows where the letters are left out. All right. Then we have the contractions with the word not, which is a negative contraction, right? So when we get to the word not, we're going to drop the O of the word not, and then we're going to put the apostrophe in its place. So you're still going to put the N and the T down, but we're going to drop the O, and then we put the apostrophe in its place. And we made an example of contractions with not, and here we have not. We have more. Is not. You can say isn't. Has not. Hasn't. Right? You can even say have not. Right? We can say have not. Who knows what is the contraction of have not? So have not. If is not is isn't, has not is hasn't. What is the contraction of have not? All right. So we have the word have not, is not, has not, right? Which are all negative contractions. And once again, we bring down so have not. When we write, for example, have not, we bring down have, right? We bring down the first word. And then all we do is we bring down the N, we remove the O, put the apostrophe in the place of the O, and then we bring down our T. So haven't, right? Haven't. So have not, haven't. All right, so we say have not, has not, is not, has not, right? And these are all contractions, and these are all negative contractions. All right, let us go to our test. So now we're going to begin our test, right? We need to find the contractions that matches the word. You need to find the contraction that matches the word. So whether it is only positive contractions or when it's both positive and negative contractions. All right. So if example, we say was not, right? So the contraction was not. If we look at the contraction, is it wasn't or was apostrophe not? We need to choose the correct contraction. Is the first option, which is wasn't. All right, so we say was not. And was not, like we said, it is a negative contraction, right? And if we, for example, choose the word was not, then we need to find a shortened form of that word. Do we say it is wasn't, or do we say it was not? We need to find the contraction. Wasn't, or do we still say was not? Oh, so we say the contractions that matches the word was not is wasn't. Yes, so wasn't is correct. Let's check. Yeah, wasn't is correct. So well done. Wasn't is correct. Do not. Do not. So was not, do not, is not, has not, right? And if we look at the word do not, what is the contraction of do not? Is it don't, or do we leave it at do not? Don't, or we leave it at do not. Right? So do not. Is it don't? All right, so we need to fill in the contraction that matches the word. Do not. So do not, is it don't, or is it still do not? So do not. All right, so if we then change that word do not into its correct contraction, then we can say I don't, he don't, right? So don't. And don't is our contraction. Don't do that. Do not do that. Don't go there. Do not go there, right? So that is contractions. All right, so we say cannot. And if we look at the shortened word of cannot, is it cannot? Does cannot say the same? Or do we say I can't? I can't go to the shop. I can't play with you, right? So can't. And let's say can't. It is. And that is a shortened form of the word cannot. Here. So has not, and then we can say hasn't, right? So not has not, we can say hasn't, right? All right, let's do one more. It says we need to fill in the contraction that matches the word are not, right? So are not, it says here that are not, we must find the contractions of the words are not. And the negative contraction of are not is aren't. So has not, are not, is not, right? And if we use the word are not, then we say aren't. Yes, so aren't is our contraction. All right. So now we're going to a plus classes.ca. We're going to learning materials. This is a plus classes.ca. We're going to learning materials. We go to reading. And then we're going to scroll right down up until we get to these 4 purple boxes. And then we go to the third box, which is to read aloud audiobooks, level 1. All right. So now we are here where we have our audiobooks, right? We have our audiobooks. And we are now going to choose one audiobooks in order for us to read as basically as a group, right? So with an audiobook, we will have basically a facilitator that's going to be reading. So you can either basically read with or read aloud, but they will basically read aloud. So you can basically just listen, right? All right, let's read Grandpa's Secret Potion. So we're going to read Grandpa's Secret Potion.
Grandpa's Secret Potion by Holly Hartman. Illustrations by Nina Olakainen.
All right.
My grandpa can do anything, and I am his best helper. My grandpa can do anything, and I am his best helper. Sometimes Grandpa and I make magic. We mix a potion with a little of this And a lot of that. And a lot of that. We put our potion into a big flat pan. We put our potion into a big flat pan. Then we make magic wands. Then we make magic wands. We wrap the wands in a secret way. Slowly, we say some magic words. Grandpa's secret bubble potion. Mix 1 gallon water, 2/3 cup dishwash soap, 1 tablespoon glycerin. For best results, allow solution to age for 5 days. It can be stored for long periods of time.
All right. So basically, that was Grandpa's secret potion, right? And they basically said what this little boy and his grandpa does, literally all the secret things, all the activities that they do together. And then also Grandpa made secret potion. And then they basically gave us the ingredients as to the things that Grandpa adds in his in that potion of his, right? All right. So that was basically the audiobook of Grandpa's Secret Potion, right? And also that is the end of our lesson on contractions, right? We see that we have negative contractions and we have positive contractions. Negative contractions are words with not in, right? And positive contractions is more your other chirpy um words like isn't, no, not isn't is a negative word. Other negative word, right? All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on contractions. Thank you very much, grade ones, for joining our class. Thank you very much for being interactive. I really hope you're going to have a good day further. Goodbye. All right. Bye.